Welcome back to the Literacy Channel. In this episode, we're talking all things handwriting. Here are some tips, strategies and ideas to help make the journey to handwriting a successful one for your pupils. For anything to be strong, it needs a solid foundation. The same goes for handwriting. We've got to do lots of important skill development before we ever jump to pencils and copies. First comes gross motor and then fine motor. Well-developed gross motor and fine motor skills are key, and children need plenty of time, practice and ways to develop these. Working on gross motor skills, we are letting the children develop the physical skills required for writing. Before we pick up pencils, we need to think about neck strength, shoulder strength, core stability, elbow strength, wrist strength and hand strength. Next, we tackle the fine motor skills. Again, before rushing to write, we need to develop fine motor skills in playful ways. Being able to control these small muscles in our hands has a huge impact on our pencil grip and our overall handwriting progress. We don't always require lots of resources and materials to develop hand strength and finger strength. Why not try finger aerobics, as Mia demonstrates?
Our first exercise, Mia's going to put her hand flat on the floor and she's going to move one finger up and down at a time. Okay, Mia? Now, second exercise, she's going to turn her hand over and she's going to do opposing finger and thumb and she's going to press really hard. Exercise 3, she's going to put on her gloves. Push down, that's it. And take them off again. And the final one, Mia, you're going to do the 2-finger squeeze. So hold, squeeze for 2 and open. Squeeze for 2 and open. And now try the other hand. Squeeze and open. And squeeze and tight and open.
Tap, tap, tap. Well, I'll be honest, I don't really understand, but I fell down the hill. Now I got glue on my hands and I got records on my fingers. Records on my fingers, I got records on my fingers and I just can't stop.
In a busy classroom, it's all about finding those opportunities to extend your learning by embedding multiple skills into our everyday practices, just like our rhymes and poems. Making a conscious effort to include finger movement songs and rhymes only increases development of hand strength. Traditions in practice leads us to rely or sometimes over-rely on certain approaches. It's really important that children have time to explore with mark making and writing, and that we don't limit their development with the constraints of boxes, lines and dots too soon. Believe it or not, the most natural way for young children to write isn't in fact hunched over desks, but vertically. Easels and chart paper taped to the wall are easy ways to create vertical writing spaces in the classroom, and it's not just for doodling and mark making, but for a number of skills like shoulder and elbow stability, bilateral coordination, crossing the midline, wrist extension, pencil grasp, hand-eye coordination, spatial awareness, core strength and posture, just to name a few. Sourcing developmentally appropriate and enticing writing materials is important, but making sure the children are actually getting consistent access to and use of a variety of materials is key. As teachers, many of us are guilty of collecting stationery and lovely writing materials, but it's important that the children get access to exciting writing materials too. Half the battle is getting the children motivated and eager to write. And working with our youngest learners, we know that plenty of playful learning is essential. By assessing our Astor stations, we can provide opportunities for the children to play with writing and see writing as an important feature of imaginary and creative play. Before we begin letter formation, we need to begin with channeling and tracing activities. These develop pencil control. Mazes and dot-to-dots are also important too. We can introduce children to useful letter strokes. These few simple strokes on their own or together can actually make up most of the letters of our alphabet. Oh, and don't forget, the donut pattern needs to be practiced clockwise and anti-clockwise. When planning for letter instruction, it's quite helpful to be aware of the letter families. The alphabet is broken into round letters, straight letters, letters with tails, letters with short vertical lines, letters with diagonal lines, and then odd letters. The senses are the pathway to the brain. The more senses we use within a learning experience, the greater the retention of the concept or the knowledge will be. With handwriting development, we need to try to make our lessons as multisensory as possible. Despite our best intentions, sometimes our planned learning experiences for handwriting aren't ideal for left-handed writers. A few careful considerations can make the experience more positive and inclusive. As a left-handed writer herself, here are 6 of Jennifer's top tips for left-handers. Handwriting development requires close observation and careful assessment from the teacher. For this, we need to follow the 7 S's for success: size, shape, sitting on the line, spacing, speed, slant, and style. Alongside our strategies and approaches, we have to make it clear for children that handwriting is fun, important, and has a purpose. They need to see your handwriting beyond the whiteboard and beyond their copies. A successful handwriting environment depends on praise. Displaying their work shows that you value their efforts and helps the children notice their progress. Don't forget, picture books have a part to play too in supporting children's handwriting development. There are many incredible picture books and stories to encourage, motivate, and inspire children along their handwriting journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and keep up to date on all things from the Literacy Channel.